Hi everyone, I thought it was time to do just a really pretty flower video, and I found this, I haven't done anything from the Twilight Garden for a while, and I thought I was just flipping through and I found this really pretty flower on this double page, and I just thought I would just do that flower. I rather like having a more simple video sometimes where it's just one little aspect. I've done a lot of sort of whole pages and things like that, but I'm thinking, going back to my roots where I started, I was just doing really little items, and I just fancied going back and doing something like that today. So here is this flower. It actually rather reminds me of a Johanna Basford flower. I haven't got a book here with one in. She's got one in Secret Garden on my very favourite page, and they look a bit like this. Now I've grabbed my Black Widow pencils. I don't think I've tried them in this book. I'm probably only going to use the Scorpion set. I don't know where it says, it doesn't say the name, does it? But I've got my others just in case I sort of run out of colours. But really, I'm not doing any of the green, I am just doing literally the flower. So I'm just going to grab my pencils. And I'm just looking at the range of colours actually, let's pop them into shot. So we've got quite a lot of pale yellows and sort of peaches. And then we go to pinks and purples and reds. What I think, and browns down here, look. Blues. What I think, we've got a lot of greens which we're not going to be using. What I think I might do is do the centre in these yellows with some of the browns, and then maybe do the flower in the reds, because we can darken those up. There's only a couple, we can darken them up with some browns as well. So I think that's what we'll do. So where should we start? Let's start with the petals. I'm thinking we've got this colour, which is the deep purple. I'm going to start with that as my darkest, and then I'm going to use the reds. I think it'll work, because I think this deep purple is a reddy colour. I put a couple of pieces of paper behind the page before I start. I don't usually mention that, but I think from time to time it's always good to just mention that I do that, so that I can protect the pages beneath. If you've coloured the page behind, sometimes the pencil might come off onto the facing page, so it's nice to have a piece of paper there just in case. I mean, that can happen further down through the book anyway, but having it on it's the pages that you're colouring directly onto the back of that need the most protection. And also it sometimes in some books the actual ink from the page will transfer across. I've had that happen before. It tends to erase off, but obviously it's not ideal. It's easier if you don't start with that. So I hope you can see what I'm doing. My idea is to try and layer my darkest colour in the centre and on this end. I do want it to be darker here than here, so this is slightly lighter than this. I don't know if that's obvious. So that's what I'm doing, and we just go around petal to petal. Yeah, I've been making some shorts videos for you for days when I can't make a second video, and some of them were flowers like this from Johanna Basford books, and I was watching the shorts and they were actually quite popular, and I sort of thought, hey, maybe people like another similar picture when I saw this one, because I firstly thought, oh, that's really similar to what I've done before, but then I thought, people seem to like it, let's do it again. And also this is a different illustrator, I'm doing it in different colours. I think the others there was a blue one and maybe a yellow one. In fact, it's the picture on my profile picture for YouTube. There's and I used to use them for my title cards. That page from Secret Garden, which is my favourite Johanna Basford page, and I've actually got an uncoloured one in my miniature Secret Garden to do, which I'm looking forward to doing, but obviously it's a lot smaller in the miniature book, so yeah, a little bit more daunting, not massively so. I have to just be in the right mood. It doesn't daunt me always. Sometimes I'm in the mood for doing a smaller picture. It just all depends. So I just grab it when I'm in the right mood. It's simple. I'm sure you're the same. Sometimes you're in the mood for simple, sometimes you're not. Sometimes I fancy doing a background, sometimes I fancy doing a berry, sometimes I want to do a cat, you know. It all depends, so I just have a think about what I'm in the mood for. Sometimes I just want to colour and I don't mind what I'm colouring, or I want a particular set of pencils, or occasionally I just feel like using pen, you know. So you can see what I'm doing now, going all the way around. I'm not talking you through very well, but I think it's quite obvious really. Now of course you could do this in any set of colours. I would usually use 3, it's a possibility that we'll use a 4th, depending on whether I think it needs to go darker when we get to the end. But just pick 3 colours that you like working together. Someone gave me a fab colour combination the other day, which I'm yet to try. I don't really feel like broadcasting it because that will be stealing it really, without crediting them, but or asking them. So I'm going to go with the burgundy next. I think it's going to work. I'm just going to scribble it. Yeah, I think it will. It might actually be the same intensity of colour as this, but we'll try and see. I'm going to go over the top because it's a slightly different tone. Do you see? And I think the deep purple just darkens it a little bit. Now this paper in this book I find is fairly textured, so you often need a few layers to not see the white paper through. I'm not sure if I want to really layer up and hide the paper or whether I'm happy with it showing through. Until I've sort of done a bit more, I won't know. So I'm just going to work my layers and see. Often with these sorts of designs, I will go darkest to lightest, then back from lightest to darkest again. So I do 2 layers of each colour at least, and then it helps to sort of thicken up the amount that I've used, and you know, fill in the tooth of the paper. I couldn't think of the word then. I've just had the most very exciting message. It was a sub-message to another very exciting message that I had, and another exciting message before that, and I cannot tell you. I'm like so excited. It's just bonkers. You will have already know because this video is being recorded in advance. So if everything pans out, as I hope it will, I'm sure it will, then you will already know what it is that I am so excited about today. But oh, I'm like buzzing. And I told my children and they were like, they don't understand. And then they go, oh, I was playing this game and this happened and this happened. They're so excited. And I'm like, So it happens both ways. Okay, now we have the blood red, and I'm just wondering whether it's a bit too... I think it will work. It's quite different. They're all quite different shades, but I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to put it right on top anyway, and it will change the colour. And I want to take it to the centre. Blood red. I love the names of these pencils. They're so fun. I've got 3 of these sets, and there's like 5 that I haven't got. So many sets. So I'm going to leave this centre bit very, very pale. Okay. Sometimes I leave it white, but I'm just going to put a light hint of colour across there. By the time I've gone back through with all my layers, then I think it will look almost white anyway. But I like there to be a bit of colour. I've just changed my technique a little bit since those earlier videos. Yeah, so I've told my husband as well, but I sent him a message on Discord, which I don't think he's allowed to check at work, to be honest. He shouldn't be, should he? He's at work. So anyway, he knows part of the excitement because it's already, I've already told him, but it's like, wow. But anyway, it's people, you would understand. People who colour understand the excitement. People who don't colour don't really. I've gone out of the lines. It might be the case that I do a black background on this picture anyway. I haven't decided yet. I don't know when I'll complete it, whether I'll leave it as a long-term work in progress or whether I'll complete it soon. I'm actually working on something else at the moment in a Hannah Carlson book. I've been sent a set of skin tone pencils and I've been practicing on one of Hannah Carlson's people faces, and it's I thought that I was rubbish at faces. I don't know how to do them. I had the skin tone set on my wish list and someone kindly sent them to me, and I'm doing my first proper face with proper skin tone. I mean, I've done a few. I've done like Ivy and mermaids and things from Johanna Basford. That's all I've done really. And a few Rita Berman ones where they're very small, so I've just sort of put one colour, you know. But this is the first sort of prop, and I'm really pleased. I looked at a picture of it completed, the page, by somebody else, and slightly used that to help me because, you know, it's my first time. But the pencils are so good and they're layering up so nicely. I thought, see, these are Crayola, not these, the ones I'm talking about, the skin tone ones. I know Black Widow has skin tone ones as well. I don't have them. The Crayola skin tone ones, I'd never had Crayola before. I had Crayola crayons as a child, but I never had the pencils. I don't think. We used to have non-branded ones because they were cheaper when I was little. Anyway, they layer up so much. I know Hannah Carlson's books are good because you can layer, the paper's thick. But I didn't expect, because of them being a budget pencil, and I know a lot of people rave about them, but I was thinking, oh, they don't know any better. Or I used to think, it's mainly Americans that I hear raving about them, and I was thinking maybe the American version of the pencil is different or something, you know. But no, they're not different. This is the Burgundy again. I'm going to go back over the areas I want dark. They aren't different as far as I can tell. They're spelt differently, I think, on the packet, but you know, we spell things differently. They're marketed. It's the marketing on the packet rather than the actual pencil. But wow, I was so impressed. My husband was going, well, do you want a set of the whole lot? And I was like, I don't think so, because, you know, I've got lots of pencils. I always say this. And then they sneak their way onto my wish list, my Christmas list, my birthday list. But we'll see. But yeah, I was really impressed, I have to say. So that was interesting. So I'm just going over the whole of the darker bit, making it even darker towards either the base or the tip and a bit lighter towards the middle. Getting quite a strange mix of colour going on, which we'll see how it works out. As I say, these aren't all quite matching, and I've sort of haven't layered them very evenly, but perhaps that's okay. We'll see how it works out. I'm just going to keep going until I'm happy. That's the thing, because I'm only concentrating on one item in this video. I feel like I've got more time to spend on just the one flower. And I realise that some people do not want to spend 20 minutes colouring one flower because it takes them forever to finish the page. And I'm the same. What I tend to do with a page like this is I'll do the first flower, this one, and note what I've done. And then for the rest of them, I'll do them much more quickly because I'll know exactly what colours to use, and I'll just colour fast, and I'll still enjoy it and have lots of fun. So yeah, it's just the first one, but I can always see when I go back, even if I can't properly remember, I can always tell which one was the one I did first because it looks a lot better. I get a bit sloppier as I go through. I'm not sure if I've done these ones already. I think maybe I started on that one. There we go. Now my very darkest colour, which you remember was the deep purple, but let's bring it into shot. Yeah, and we'll just do real centre. I think I'm just going to sharpen this actually. I know it's fairly sharp, but I really get right into that middle. That's Now I'm so pointy that I'll probably snap it. I'll have to go slowly, which is probably a good thing. Now I'm concentrating and not talking. But anyway, I'm mega excited, which is fabulous. Basically, I'll give you clues. Something is probably arriving in the post. You may have guessed. And but I don't know when. And yeah, it's intriguing and exciting. And I don't know if it's coming by postman or courier. Now, our postman has already been today and actually brought me a delightful letter from a friend, which I really appreciated. I read very quickly and enjoyed, and I shall spend time reading it over several more times and then reply, whoops, that's what I thought might happen. And so that will be really nice. And I appreciated that a lot. And my children got a birthday card. So that was lovely. But if I'm having an Amazon delivery, which this won't be, it comes at 6 o'clock in the evening, whereas the postman comes 11ish maybe. So I just don't know. I don't know if I've done all those middles. Right, for me, that very central part, I hope what you can see is happening to our flower. So it looks like this is very deep downwards, and this leaf is coming up from the centre, then turning over and coming back down again. That's the impression I want to give. However, it's looking quite scruffy at the moment, and what I've decided to do is I'm going to try and smooth it out a little bit with a pink. This is called Pig's Ear, and I think I might be able to just blend the colours together a bit without making it too dark. I'm going to push fairly hard, top and bottom, not so much in that centre where I want it to be a little bit lighter. I hope you can see that that's just a little bit tidier. I'm almost burnishing it, but I'm using the pink so that it adds a little bit of extra colour as well. Now, each petal isn't identical colour-wise, and each part of the petal isn't, but I think that's more natural. Some flowers probably do have every leaf the same, but some flowers really don't, so it just depends on the flower. That one looks really long. I don't know why. So, oops. Oh dear. So anyway, I think it's okay if it's not really even. I'm just going to grab an eraser just for that bit. If I do end up doing a black background, it won't matter, but just in case I don't, I always think it's better to just do that when you notice it, when you think about it, when you do it. You probably don't, you're probably far less careless than me, but that's just the way I am. I am so fast. What was I reading? Oh yeah, no, I was listening to Johanna Basford's podcast the other day, and she had interviewed, it would be episode 2, and she interviewed someone called, was it Holly, who is in charge of Not on the High Street, who runs it or made it up or founded it or something. And she said she was always called Hurricane Holly because she was always doing things fast. And that's like me. It's like, have an idea about something, I go for it. I do everything, I work hard at it, I push my whole energy into it, I'm rushing around doing everything at once. I've never got enough time because I've got so many ideas, and I'm just, although I do get a lot done, you know. And in the kitchen, as well, if I'm cooking, I am so fast, I'm everywhere at once. So if you think you're out of my way standing in a place, you're not for long, because I'm there wanting to be somewhere else, you know. There we go. Yeah, I like that. Now we have to do the middle. If you want the bottoms to be very slightly darker, you could use the dark chocolate. I have been considering that, but I actually think it's okay. What I do is I do the centre, and if I then think it needs something, I'll use that. My centre is going to be in several colours. I'm just having a think. We've got the circular bits, but we've also got bits in the background. And I think I want to do those background bits in my darkest colour, which I've got here is my brown bug. What I'm going to do is sharpen it to a fine point, and hope I don't break it. There we go. And do those bits that are in between. So like this bit here. You could do this in black. The Scorpion set doesn't have a black. I do have a black widows. Black widow? From the spider set. But I'm quite happy using this one. You could use the dark chocolate. It is even darker, but I might use that for the edge of this, so I thought I wouldn't use it for this bit. So I'm trying to get quite an intense colour down several layers. There. I'm going to go back over it a little bit. There we go. Now I also want quite a dark layer around each of these circular parts, and I am going to use this as well, but I'm going to use it with a lighter touch so that hopefully you can distinguish the difference between the bits that are down here and the bits that are going to be on here. So it's literally going to be a very light layer just around the edge of each one. Now it might look a little scruffy, but that's okay, it's going to come together. And I can always add a bit more later if it needs it, or even a bit of the dark chocolate colour. So I'm just roughly going around the edge of each one. Now this does take time, but I think it's worth it, rather than colouring over the whole thing. And because we're doing a video purposely to just concentrate on one flower, then we want to do each detail. It looks a bit scruffy now, I shall have to admit, but that's the first bit. Now I'm going to use, whoops, this colour, I think it's called Dark Tan. Okay, and this is going to be my next darkest. What I'm going to do, I'll show you on this biggest one, which is here, is go over the top of the edge in quite a hard layer, and then a little bit less towards the middle, like that, and hopefully there'll be enough space to do that on most of these. Some of them are a little small to concentrate, but don't worry, like that one seems to have just gone over the whole of it because it's small. That's fine. Just do the best you can. You will still get the effect by the time it's done, as long as you remember to do them all. I just missed a load out. Oh, my desk is creaking. I'm not sure. It was uneven. I fiddled with it and now it's creaking. So never mind. It's got a lot of stuff. It's got all my colouring books under, well, actually only some of my colouring books under it. At the moment they're usually in a shelf in the hall, and it's very dusty. What's that colour? Yeah, I'm going to use this one, Tanned. It's very dusty in there, so I didn't want to. I'm going to try and leave a little white bit in the middle. Might have to layer this up a little bit because it's quite pale. Yeah, it barely shows. If you layer it up a bit. Yeah, so because of the dust from the workman, I've moved them under my desk here. It's quite nice having them next to me, but I haven't really, they can't just stay shoved on the floor forever. It'd be nice to have somewhere a bit better to keep them, but I'm working on it. I've got the kitchen to do first, and then I shall have a think. yeah, the work, whoops, the work I think will be going on till early October, as far as I can tell from the timetable, at least. There are a few other jobs, so I think it might be mid-October. I think from 30th of October I'll have my kitchen back into a usable state. It's some disappearing, yeah, from the 30th of September, sorry, it'll, I think, maybe the 1st of October, 2nd of October, which will be something to look forward to. At the moment I'm using it, but I know that's not going to last. I think I'm going to use the honeycomb to finish those off. I don't know how much lighter it is than that. It's quite similar, but it's a little bit more yellowy, and I'm actually going to go over the top of the whole thing. I think I'll just warm it all up a bit. It's easier than trying to do each one individually. I can get more colour down, I think, this way. There we go. Now what you could do is try and make the ones on the outside a little bit darker than the ones on the inside to make the centre of the flower look like that. Do you see how it sticks up? It's domed. Ours looks flat. We need to make it look domed because it's that type of flower. So we can work on that now. So now we've done each individual little thing. We can start to work on that colour. I am actually going to use quite a dark brown. Let me think. Yeah, I'm going to use the dark chocolate. We haven't used it yet. I don't think I'm going to need it for this. So what I'm going to do is these outside ones need to look a bit darker. So very gently, just layering up a bit of this dark colour. Very gently. The idea is that we want the outside ones to look darker than the middle ones. And so we'll bring a little bit of that colour through to them towards the middle, but not right in the centre. We actually need it to be quite significantly dark around here, or else we can't make the illusion work. Just keep persevering with it. It's possible we could have done this first and then put our other colours on top. They may not have shown up at all then. So basically you want the very centre bit to be very light and these edges to be the darkest, because it will then look like there's more shadow there. I think we're beginning to get there. And a black might be helpful if you have got one, just to really emphasise that darker bit. And there would probably be darker down on this front area than on the top as well. Right, I think that is better. We're getting there. We can't layer down too much more or else we're going to run out of tooth in the paper. Just light layers. And as I say, maybe a darker colour might be slightly more effective. I'm actually going to pinch the black. I say pinch the black. Take it out of the black set. Excuse my arm reaching over. Oops. So this is the Black Widow. And I'm just going to put a bit of that around here. A bit less as we go around. None in the middle. There, that's better. I'm happy with that now. So there is our flower. So there's several on this page of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. There's one that looks more like this. I think it's a repeating, that's not a repeating pattern. And the others are all more like this. But you can colour them in exactly the same way. So that's how I would do it anyway. And then we have got these berries. I would probably would be tempted to colour those like rose hips, but there aren't roses in this picture. These are like gerbera daisies, I think. And we have these flowers, which look more like cherry blossom to me. But it's totally up to you. And the rest is leaves. So I'm going to leave it there. I probably won't do any other aspect of this page. So go ahead and colour the rest. I would do every flower like this in this exact way, so they matched. But you don't have to. You could do them all different colours. I mean, we've got different flowers on the same stem. So it's and different leaves, I think. And we've got berries and flowers together, which doesn't normally happen. So it's a bit of a fantasy picture, which is absolutely fine. But, you know, so you might want to change the colour around a bit. If you do different colours, I would perhaps do the centres all the same, so you've got some consistency, or do this shading the same on each one, and then that's consistent. But there we go. I'm going to go now, but thank you very much for watching. Please do click like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. It does make quite a difference. It certainly makes me happy anyway. So thank you so much. Have a really lovely day and happy colouring.